Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT HD WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Good Thursday, everyone. It is a big day. What is it that Tucker Carlson will be most missed for having that platform at Fox? I would say it's the war in Ukraine, his coverage on the war in Ukraine and the pushback on that. And now we have a number of Senate Republicans, some of them even on the record, I'll give you some of that, saying, thank God he's gone. He was bad for democracy, bad for the world. They don't get it. They don't get that the base of the Republican Party, that's the issue exactly, more than almost anything, where Carlson reflects how people feel about this. They just don't get it. They're going to continue to shove this war down our throat. And as a little adjunct, boy, do we have a story. Now, the guy is sick today, Dan. I've had him on before. He's an excellent Paul Sperry, reporter, journalist, investigative reporter for Real Clear Politics.
What a great story.
I'm going to need your help here. A little bit of the tribe pronunciation. I would go to Dorenzo if it were Italian. Daddy Dorenzo, not the son, is the only one. But since your dad is not available, how do we pronounce this guy who is a luxury car dealer with 55 luxury car dealerships in Ukraine?
Hold on, I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah. All right. Hyansky. Hanksky. Maybe Hanksky. Hanksky. All right. So Real Clear Politics. And let me just connect that. I'll play you at some point today what Tucker said in the one tape we have. I think a lot of people have already heard it.
It's Hinansky. I think Hinansky. Yeah, John Hinansky.
Yeah, so this guy's over in Delaware, but he's also in Ukraine. Hinansky, he owns and operates 55 luxury car dealerships in Ukraine, has received more than $20 million in loans from the taxpayer-funded U.S. Overseas Private Investment Corporation. Tip of the hat. Yesterday, I tipped the hat to somebody else who has passed, but a tip of the hat to Irv Homer, Dan, just one of the all-time greats of talk radio. Used to be on OPIC for years. This is like 30 years ago. We've been talking about this. And this guy, Hansky, has been a huge contributor to Biden's campaigns. His son, Hunter, it gets private jet rides. And the brother, Jim, another clown, was bailed out, $900,000 loan bailout on a Florida house he could not afford. What is it with these people, with the Bidens? These clowns. This guy is in Delaware, apparently, but he's got all these places he's a longtime Delaware supporter of the president. But Hansky also is deeply involved in Kiev, and dealerships there, 55 luxury car dealerships. Now, this is just, what's the link to Tucker Carlson? This is just another link to what happens in these wars, these never-ending wars like the war in Ukraine and our position. Now, I'm not saying this guy Hansky is the sole reason that Joe Biden said we're never going to stop spending in Ukraine, whatever it takes. But these are the influences. And just think of how bad it finances the Bidens are, living off everybody else. The brother has got millions, tens of millions probably, through all the influence peddling. And he overextends, and they have to bail him out for the house he can't afford in Florida. And this guy comes in. And this guy wants one thing. He wants these car dealerships, and he wants Ukraine to continue in the manner of the U.S. military and spending and everything else. And Tucker Carlson, by the way, I love this song, so it throws me off a little bit.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You okay with it in the back? I can take it off.
No, it's okay.
Right.
I'm a professional. I can go for it. Now, you
great
can't.
Song.
You can't play Neil Diamond Coming to America, though, and then I might have to go off. We have to go to a commercial break. Now I'm looking for my spot here. Here we are.
Hey, now.
So here are some Republicans. Here are some Republicans who talked about Tucker Carlson, Ukraine. Again, we're talking about these car dealerships, these connections. I could see if Tucker were on, Dan, with his Paul Sperry story. They might do a 3-part series on it. They'd be at the car dealerships in Kiev to see if they're protected. They'd be at the beach house.
It's great.
Yeah, the beach house of a dumber Biden, apparently. Guy can't afford a beach, $900,000. We need a loan, if that's possible. And Hunter Biden, back and forth between all this stuff. So Mitt Romney and Cornyn, the alleged Republicans, they both talked to, was it Politico? Yeah, Politico and others. They see Carlson's departure as a good thing. And the main thing they go back with is that he was setting foreign policy with the base of the party for the Republican Party, and they resent it. Well, we resent them. We resent this idea that we haven't already done enough for Ukraine. Now, I don't like Tucker's, I won't call it a bromance, but his dabbling with Putin. Putin is pure evil. He's a plutonium sandwich. That's what he is, right? In any way that he's taken out, I'm fine with. But that aside, this is the exact syndrome that we've talked about, that Trump has talked about, the unending wars and getting deeper and deeper into this. And this Hansky guy is just an example of the collateral stuff that happens. He's willing to do anything for the Bidens. And what he wants is Ukraine. That's clear. I don't think you're going to read this in the Philadelphia. 55 luxury car dealerships in Ukraine. That's got to be a heck of a country, Ukraine. I mean, I think Zelensky and people like that could be mayor of Philadelphia. It's so corrupt. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. You get on board. When I think of Tucker Carlson, though, I think this is where it all came together. And the resentment, Romney, Cornyn, these other guys quoted Thune in the article. We told you yesterday, the Department of Defense, they were happy to see him go. They're tired. He was attacking the U.S. military. He wasn't attacking the U.S. military. He was attacking these forces inside government, whether they're deep state elites, people with a self-interest that continue to get us involved in these situations. So I think Ukraine could be by 2024, if this is still going on, which it might, be a major issue. Now, as far as Tucker Carlson and what he does next or what happens in his spot, it is true. They are hemorrhaging even worse than I thought, particularly with 25 to 54-year-old viewers. People are going over to Newsmax. Now, I've been on Newsmax, and all no offense to them, Dan, it's hard to compete against Fox, but it is kind of AAA versus the big guys. And this happened before. People are looking for something. I don't know that they're going to find that over at Newsmax versus Fox. But I do have some of the odds. The favorite, according to media sources and odds makers, is the obvious play. It is should be Jesse Waters. Jesse's on paternity leave, though, Dan. At a moment like this, does it help him or hurt him? That shows his value. They're hurting at 7. He's not there. The 5 is not as good with him. And he'd be the guy I put in at 8. But one of the interesting contenders, and it's a long shot, is Tulsi Gabbard, who I don't know. She's done podcasting a lot.
I love the idea.
I don't know if she could do network TV. I think she'd be a one-trick pony, though.
No? You don't think she'd be good?
I mean, the only thing she talks about is, Tucker Carlson is really entertaining. She's kind of a great guest because of the persona. Do you find Tulsi Gabbard to be...
I find her entertaining. I don't know if she can hold a show like Tucker did. I think you're right there.
Yeah.
And the thing that really would stick out to me if they went in that direction is that's like a complete 180 too. You know, Tucker's pretty far to the right compared to Tulsi, who...
well, no, Tucker Carlson's got a lot of left-wing views. He's so far to the right, it comes to the left. And he's more libertarian, I think. Then Gutfeld at 8 o'clock, I don't see it.
So you think Tulsi's politics kind of align with Tucker's to a degree?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, tremendous. They're contrary. Yes.
I don't know if Tulsi can pull off the smug, though. And that's what I think
no.
the next host needs is that smug that
yeah,
Tucker has.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, our boss, Greg, though, I think he was a little bit surprised when we were talking before the show when I told him, you and I don't find Gutfeld to be funny.
No, he's
And
not.
I don't think listeners do
No.
either.
You know what? I reconsider that though, because Gutfeld himself on the 5
Yeah.
is funny. Like when he's just kind of riffing on his own.
Yeah, but that's short burst of little stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole I think it's more his comedy writers or quote comedy unquote writers than it is Gutfeld himself, because he just does like joke after joke and they fall flat and they're cringeworthy, and it hurts to watch that show sometimes.
Yeah, but it tells us something. People want something. They're willing to put up with that versus Colbert and all the other dreck that's out there. You know, that's what's going on. All right, so 855-839-1210. We got a great side question for you. And coming up, I will give you an update. The great man, Phil Murphy, has spoken about his hair. He did a one-on-one interview. And Dan, did you see the guy from NBC 10 who shows up for the interview? Not exactly dressed for the occasion. Who is that guy, right?
I saw that.
They got this guy out of nowhere. I think he's from New York, NBC, that came down to do it. Phil Murphy talks about the speculation that his hair is not real. He's got it all. Oh, it's about 10 or 15 seconds of pure gold. We'll play that next. Side question, though. We're kind of inundated out here with Bring Your Kid to Work Day. You've been waiting for that, Dan. You got some special music. I thought you'd have footage.
It's not special music. I just want to bring some tears to your eyes.
Oh, yeah. I thought you'd have footage of the kids running the hallways out here.
No, I can't do that. That's, you can take video of minors and put them up on social media without parental permission and all.
Okay. Get those signatures.
Oh, parental permission, something that us conservatives still believe in, that liberals like to take out of schools, apparently.
So it is Sons and Daughters to Work Day. Is that what they're calling it now?
Yeah, take your daughters, sons to work.
I think they start with daughters, which is okay.
Take your child to work? Is that what it is? Bring a kid to work
Bring
day?
a kid to work, any kid.
Yeah, whatever. Bring a kid
They're
to work
not your kid, as Joe Biden
No, you
said.
know what?
Bring America's kids
U.S.
to work.
Department of Interior has labeled it Bring a Kid to Work Day.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
So go get those young goats and bring them into work.
All right. So we're going to ask, give us somebody, son or daughter, who was as successful in that realm as a very successful dad or mom, Dan. You can make it a mom, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just being clear. We talked this out.
Yeah. It can be either parent, just following in the parent's footsteps.
It's got to be in the same field, though.
Yes. Same field.
It can't just be they were a success. One's making widgets and the other is a Borowski. It's got to be in the same field.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to say the Bushes. Both of them were presidents.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is pretty good. And Jeb Bush has spent $125 million to go Jeb with an exclamation point.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I would say the Kennedys were in the same field.
Yep.
Those are a couple I'll give you.
How about, I'm going to take another political one off the board. Nancy Pelosi. Wasn't her father the mayor of Baltimore?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. That's right.
So follow her father into politics in that sense.
That's where she got it from. So
and I'm going to go off the, let's go off the political realm for a sec. Angelina Jolie and John Voight.
Perfect.
I think that's a great one. And then how about Billy Ray Cyrus and both Miley and Noah Cyrus?
Oh, I don't even know the other
And I think Miley has an older brother who was in a band that was popular for a couple of minutes there as well.
All right. And also coming up, Jerry Springer passes away at the age of 79, voted the worst show in the history of TV. We'll have to ask worst shows today. And I'll tell you, see if anybody remembers, what show did I tell you on? I was never on the Jerry Springer show, but it was sort of like this, that people couldn't believe I was, two of them that I was on. One time with Judge Janine. And Dan, they gave us 4 hours for makeup and hair, if you can imagine.
Did you need all the 4 hours?
No, I needed 5 minutes. It was Judge Janine, though, was in there. There are curlers going on and stuff like that. I'm ready to do the show and go home. All right, 855-839-1210. What show was that? It was sort of a Springer show. Was it Maury? Oh, Maury. Maury's still on somewhere. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. At the end of your call, hit us with that. Remember, they have to be in the same field. All that straight ahead. Talk Radio 1210. Oh, wait. Hold the presses, Dan.
What happened?
Minnie up there is showing what she's eating for lunch. She sent it me on Twitter today. Tell people where they can go to see the full back in studio.
Yeah, go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Every day now we're doing a, Dining with Dom. So #Dining with Dom. It's a full social media approach. So first, go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Like and subscribe over there. And what's happening over there? Yesterday we saw it in a full force. It's turning into a discussion of the show as the show's happening. So it's like another kind of
Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Show inside the show.
It's a show inside the show. So go check it out and have some fun with other listeners there. youtube.com/@1210WPHT. And Minnie's starting a trend here where every day she seems to tune in, and she's becoming a regular on the YouTube feed, and she is posting up her meal of the day.
Okay.
And today, Dom, she's having, it looks like an egg taco, but she put on Dan's native Texan salsa. Yeah, I guess I have a salsa down in Texas.
All right. Well, I hope that coming up at some point, I'll be able to be sampling those new Captain Chucky's ravioli dishes. We're waiting on permission for that.
Right now,
get a big bib, and I'll be doing that in the future.
Yeah, let's see that live on our Dining with
Dom.
Dom.
That's what you're going to be.
So again,
witnessing,
youtube.com/@1210WPHT on the screen right now is that
right. And if there is a clothier out there, Dan, I've always said, I could wear that while here on air. That's another thing to be working on. All right, 855-839-1210. You get in with Dom and Dan. All right, Miley Cyrus, Billy Ray Cyrus. Billy, obviously, the bigger star.
Whoa, hold on. No,
right.
no.
So
no.
let's take your daughters, sons and daughters to work today, except if it's Miley Cyrus. That might be a little bit difficult. All right. Hit us with a family where the mom or dad really succeeded, and then the child came pretty close or surpassed in the same field, though.
Yeah, so we're asking on Twitter, Dom,
Yeah.
who's a famous person who succeeded after following in their parents' footsteps in the same field? I got some good ones already rolling in. I'm going to take a couple off the board, Dom, if you don't mind.
Sure.
How about the Duceys? I know you're a big
Yes.
fan of Steve, but you think Peter will eventually surpass him in the?
Yes, I'm not a big fan of Steve Ducey.
Yeah, I know, but you got one guy, Steve, who's sitting there doing what, the morning on
Yes,
Fox. That's a
yes.
huge spot to have. You
Right.
think Pete will ever get a spot like that or bigger? Or you think Pete will always remain as like a pool reporter to a degree?
Oh, but he's the president goes after him directly.
Yeah,
I think Peter Ducey's more significant than Steve Ducey already.
you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not just a reporter.
Who do you think the network values more?
I think Peter Ducey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, Steve Ducey, they keep on putting in Will Kane and Pete Hegseth on the morning thing, which I don't get. But anyhow, I feel bad for Ryan Kilmeade's got to put up with that. And then he's got to take the heat for filling in for Tucker Carlson. While Jesse Waters, Dan, would you be taking paternity leave like Jesse Waters now?
I don't know. I'd have to see how my situation is. I can't judge the guy.
I just think with all the money in the world and all that, I don't know what you need paternity leave for, you know? It's like you get it, you have to take it.
Yeah, you're right. There's definitely money
I mean,
there
I could
too.
see two people struggling and you need people on the home front and all, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 855-839-1210. You get in. Now, a couple things before I take a call. All right, the show that I was on that's similar to Springer, Montel Williams. Twice. I think it was twice. And Montel was great.
Do we have footage of that?
If you Google it, maybe it is somewhere, particularly at the end. What I said about how to protect schools, the other guest didn't like and walked off the set hollering. I thought that was a great moment. And Judge Janine was a guest too, somehow or another. And it took, Dan, for the 1 hour filming, like 6 hours we were there. That's the only thing. I mean, that's too much of a commitment.
That's a long time.
The other one that I was on, not exactly like this, was Dancing on Air, talking about reading when I was still teaching full time. And books and all that.
So did you have to dance in that?
Oh, thank God, no. I thought Ro was thinking at home, yes, that's it. You really want to be on there. You're going to be talking about this stuff, and they're going to make you dance. That's it. I'm walking off the set. That's it. No dancing.
I think you should have danced, though.
Oh, God.
Who were the other judges? I'm sorry. Weren't there like a panel of judges that were fascinating?
On Dancing on Air? No, I was on by myself, and I was talking to the dancers. The kids were the major dancers.
I thought you had some kind of dance competition that you also judged, and it was just like
yeah, no, that was something else. Yeah. So and I was throwing them gum as they were, answering questions about what they read. Imagine on Dancing on Air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not Dancing on My Own.
No. All right. Now let's play for people. Here's Phil Murphy. He finally sits down for a one-on-one interview. First of all, denying that he wants to run for president. I don't have any of that. Maybe Washington someday, but did I tell you, I don't take the rugs with me that we spent $500,000 on. They get to the rug on his head. And I'm thinking, how about brushing this? Or is this a strategy not to brush the hair? Here's Phil Murphy, one-on-one interview with an NBC guy from New York. I think he's New York and Philadelphia. And he asked him about the change in the hair. Listen to this.
In Washington has been fueled by, yes, the dramatic new look of his hair.
What's the skinny on the hair?
I go to the same woman, barber, and about a year ago, I can't remember exactly when, she said to me, Mr. Murphy, why do I keep cutting your hair? You don't have that much hair to begin with. You should have let your hair grow. So I said, Miss Kim, let's give it a try.
In the nearly
Miss
6
Kim!
years following Republican Chris Christie, Murphy, the Democrat-based car.
Yeah, all right. So wait a minute. He's telling us that Widow's Peak, he let it grow out.
Yeah.
And
it looks like that. I might be on Team Murphy for this one.
no,
You
I don't
he's
think
got
so.
plugs?
Huh?
You think he got
Yeah,
plugs?
there's some kind of thing in the middle, Dan. The sides he let grow out. Then Miss Kim, somehow or another, master barber, told him not to brush it. And I get it, trying to fluff it so that it looks. Are you putting that up there? We need to take a.
Yeah, it's up on our YouTube,
right.
youtube.com/@1210WPHT.
Now, can we zone in on that? Can I get the FBI or the CIA to zone in on the follicles here? And can we determine? It looks like some. You know what? Women. Come on, help me with this. Women. Maisie has great hair. Maisie probably never did it. It used to be a style to lengthen your hair, a fall, that kind of an extension, but it was called a fall. Okay?
They still have them. They're popular.
Yeah.
Extensions and
Yeah,
such.
yeah. But I think it was a call to fall at one point, is what I'm saying. Ro, if she's listening, knows. All right. It looks like that to me, Dan. It looks like there's not plugs, but kind of an extension that's glued in there or something, right in the center. The rest of it looks like his hair he let grow out. I agree. And then you don't brush it, she must have told him. But then right in the center.
First off, if you're going to grow out your hair, you got to grow it into a hairstyle. You're not just going to grow it into a crappy beetle look, right?
Right.
Like, you style it.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at it here. It's dark on the screen on our YouTube channel. But it looks like if you look at like where his widow peak goes down, it looks like it's just like a tuft of hair that's coming out of that little widow's peak, and he's allowed that front part to get much longer than the rest of his hair.
That could come out of that? I don't think so.
I don't know.
All right.
It's hard. Either way, it looks terrible. I don't know what Mrs. Kim is thinking and telling him this advice.
Miss Kim.
Yeah.
Could you see this with Phil Murphy? How things going with COVID and all, How are you, how's your run for the presidency gone? Why are you spending $500,000 of my money on a bunch of rugs that you don't take with you? You got to look at that. You have to look at it closely. I don't think that's hair that's coming out that way, Dan. I can't imagine from the widow's peak.
Why is it so like wavy too and frizzy?
Well, it's frizzy. Well, she told him it'll look fuller, which is true, versus wetting it down. That kind of thing a little bit. Now I'm wetting it down because of this YouTube thing.
It cuts to it. So on the YouTube thing, it's showing right now, after he talks about his hair, it cuts to him with like a longer hairstyle, but it's styled and it looks decent.
Right.
I don't know why the guy goes on to Median without styling his hair. And
exactly.
is this is this Phil Murphy's Carhartt sweatshirt?
What, the hair?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's it.
His way to relate to voters.
Oh, I see.
I have an unkempt hairstyle. Look at me. I'm just a normal guy. I don't have millions and millions of dollars.
I think it's to flesh out the hair. Miss Kim, that's the stuff. Boy, that would be the interview of the year, particularly if he does run for president, to get to Miss Kim. All right, 855-839-1210. NFL draft tonight. And I am not a fan of the draft, but I am a fan of Ray Dininger. He'll be here at 2:30 tomorrow breaking down who the Eagles pick and all the stuff that goes into that. You got to commend the NFL that they are able to take something that I think is un-American, forcing someone to go somewhere, and turn it into an extravaganza that's unbelievable, particularly here in a place like Philadelphia with the Eagles. The speculation, the stuff. It's an industry that they've created that is marketing genius. But who in the world can be in favor of that? Oh, people like Dan and Dorenzo. They're about the only ones.
It's so much fun.
All right, that's it. Tell people they have to shuffle off to Buffalo. But I don't want to go to Buffalo. I want to go to Miami. All right, let me take one here, Dan. Let's go to Greta. Greta is always in Gloucester Township. Hi, Greta. What do you have today?
Well, I have Kirk and Michael Douglas.
Okay. Who is the superior there? I know what the correct answer is, but let's see what you say.
I don't know. It's tough. I would say Kirk.
Yeah, it is Kirk Douglas. Michael Douglas is good, but Kirk Douglas is what you think of when you think of a movie star. He's one of the all-time potential movie stars. Yeah. It's not even close.
Love Michael Douglas, though.
Yeah, Michael Douglas is good. That's a good answer. Those are two really, really big names in the same field. Okay.
Michael Douglas is married to Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yes, of course. They've had some wild kind of...
found that out right now. Wow.
Google a wild interview on that from Zeta-Jones, and you'll see what I mean. Kind of strange guy with Michael Douglas. Okay, let's talk great tours, though. Let's talk Italy first. We're headed out this August. Listeners have been piling in, and we still have room for more because Conservative Tours knows how to accommodate talk radio audience is second to none. Conservative Tours has a plus rating with the BBB, and this trip is beyond a plus. If you've never been to Italy, well, you get Rome, Florence, Tuscany, Venice, Milan, stunning Lake Maggiore at the foot of the Alps. Italy, the most revisited country in the world. And they know the secret to doing this is to have great guides. You've heard Giuseppe with me. Might get him back on again tomorrow. One more time. Luxury hotels, sumptuous feasts. You don't get the tourist experience, though. We go to the back, we roll across the back roads of Tuscany to find great wines, a balsamic farm, medieval villages like Orvieto, the Colosseum, Michelangelo's David, the Vatican, and everyone's favorite, magical, romantic Venice. That's where we end. $52.67. That's all. Great price, including your airfare. Call them now at 888-733-9494. That's 888-733-9494. Go to the website, conservativetours.com. All right, a little change here. Here's the game plan. We're calling it audible. Hut, Mississippi. 42.
Dude, you've got a great voice for that. That's a new side of Dom I haven't heard.
Well,
you got to get behind a line of scrimmage somewhere and throw a football 40 yards.
Right. I was a quarterback in the rough touch league. It was only a 40-yard field, though.
Oh, yeah?
So, 39-yard field, maybe. All right.
Gotta
Joining
get
us
going on YouTube again. There we are on YouTube.
Yeah. Joining us is somebody we talked about yesterday and got a lot of response. Don Bazuffi is the head leader of a kids league, Deptford Little League. And because of some unruly parents, and Dan, I think, was savaging them, he's come up with something that's made national news. If you want to remain and you've been hard on the umpires, and we're going to find out how you make that decision, then you have to umpire a few games yourself. I think with a real umpire there too. And Dan, you love this. You're beating up on these parents.
Well, I mean, as a younger guy myself, looking to become a parent soon, and a guy that was a student teacher for a while, I dealt with parents today, and I noticed that parents today are very entitled and think that their kids need to come first in everything. And I
you're playing to the crowd.
No,
here.
I can see how it translates over to the field, and these umpires are paid to do a job and not get yelled at, and you got to do something about it, right?
All right, let's go to Don here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Don, thanks for joining us, and thanks for what you do. We grew up in a sports family. My son runs a Little League program much like this. He doesn't have as unruly as these parents. So what were the parents doing, Don, that made you do this?
Okay, I want to make a couple things clear first. We are a totally volunteer organization, Little League. We do not pay anybody. We don't pay our umpires.
Okay.
All volunteer.
Okay.
99% of the people there, like in any sports, but youth sports. But there's always that 1% that have to push the envelope, be vocal, amplified, and really just be problematic. And in recent weeks, we've had 2 umpires that couldn't take it anymore say, I'm not here to get abused and humiliated, and we're not doing it anymore. Two of them. Mind you, we had a pool of 5 umpires, so then we were down to 3. And I said, this is enough. This has been going on for too long. You call the police, and the police come out, and their hands are tied. They say, cut it out.
Well, wait a minute, Don. It's bad enough. You got to call the police out on these people? Yeah?
No, I won't. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Years ago, we did when they got unruly. But first of all, they've got their hands full as it is. But they're tied. Their hands are tied. If they come out, the best they could do is cut it out and bring their presence. So I try not to do that ever. So the other alternative, we suspend them for 2 games. You got ejected now and the next game, but it's a temporary fix. They're back the next week. So we're back to square one. So I said, we're losing umpires. I got to do something here. I am totally fed up. So I sat up all night long last Thursday, and I said, what can I do that these people don't want to happen or that they don't want to deal with? And I said, well, I know what they don't want to do because they don't do it. They don't want to volunteer. They don't want to come out here and umpire. Well, maybe if we made them, they'd understand what these guys are going through, volunteering their time for their children. And the way we're going to do it, before I did anything, I contacted our town's Code of Conduct Committee. We were the first town in the state to enact a Code of Conduct. And I said, I just want to know if I can do this and if you guys are going to support me, because this might blow up. And I'm ready to enforce it. And our town is so supportive. And they said, absolutely, it's a great idea. So I put a letter out to all the parents, and I said, listen, here's the deal. If you decide that it's that important for you to humiliate an umpire and abuse an umpire, especially in front of your children that are playing there, we're going to suspend you from being a spectator at our field for up to a year. Now, we're going to give you the opportunity to come back, but you must agree to and complete 3 umpire assignments. Then you can come back and watch your child play. So, we're hoping that they think about this. And if people start thinking about what they're doing, they're at home with these children, and they're demanding respect from these children, and rightly so. And then they come to this field, and they're telling these children, it's okay for you now, but it's okay for you to yell at him. He's just an umpire. You can scream all you want at him because it's all learned behavior. We know that. So we're trying to curb it, and hopefully, if this doesn't stop the problem, I'm hoping that this will have an effect and at least alleviate some of the problems.
Well, I think it's a fair thing to do. And yeah, you did say they're volunteers versus a paid umpire, where maybe I'm just, can you make any comment toward the umpire and if the umpire feels they're being humiliated, I mean, what does it take? Is it the eye test, the judgment? Don, if I saw it, you got to understand. I mean, I played in South Philly, grew up in South Philly, maybe different sensibility, but these are volunteers. That is different.
Correct. Well, here's the way I look at it. I've been involved with Deptford Little League for 40 years, and I've seen it through the years. And I'll watch games sometimes. And the parents that we're talking about, it's all conceived through tunnel vision. Believe me, it's they see one person out there, where these umpires are worried about two teams full of people. So they're calling in their mind. Their kids running the first base. They're calling this play before he even gets there. He's going to be safe. Trust me. So when that umpire calls him otherwise, they're going to let him know how wrong he is. How dare you call my son out? And that's basically what they're thinking. And it's absurd. It's totally absurd. So these people think that they can call that play from 35 feet on an angle better than that umpire right at first base 2 feet away from that bag. And it just amazes me. And there's no talking to them. They know they're right. And it's that 1%. And we've got to do something about it because it gets out of control and we can't afford to lose umpires. I don't think any organization can. I don't care if they're paid or volunteer. You've got guys out there doing their best. And you want to know the truth? These guys are out there doing it for their kids. And I've umpired many games. And guess what? We all stink. Okay. But we're doing our best that we can for their kids. We're not professional and they don't get it. And,
well, not only that, in a little league game and all, too, catchers often are not that good. You're the umpire behind the plate. You're a target of wild pitches, foul tips, everything.
I got one the other night, right in the chest. Yeah. Right in the, believe me, you expect that, and that's part of it. And that's okay.
All right, well, now here's a question I wanted to know, Don. My producer, Dan, but I'll ask it too. Does the league give participation trophies?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean to the kids?
Yes.
Only in T-ball and coach pitch. The 4 and 5 year olds. The rest, if they win the championship, they get a trophy.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good rule. That's a good demarcation. Hey, what's your website? Do you have a website for the Deptford Little League?
We do. It's DeptfordLittleLeague.com. Or you could just Google. If you Google Deptford Little League, there's 2 or 3 that'll come up, and the main one is on Sports Connect.
Okay,
that's who it's through. And we do have. In fact, they're rebuilding it. I'm not good with computers, so don't ask me.
Well, Don, you are good with kids, though. Thanks for that. I think you said 40 years of doing this. It takes a lot of detail work and all to put something. How many teams do you have?
We've got 25 teams now.
Yeah.
With about 325 kids in the league. So, it's a very rewarding thing. I think that if, this is an important statement. I hope there's people out there listening. If you're out there, you have to understand, if you're in a setting of any youth sports activity, you're a role model. These kids are watching you. Okay. So it's our job. It's our job to make sure that we're doing it correctly. Okay, we're trying to teach these kids camaraderie, sportsmanship, and respect. And one person it takes to throw a monkey wrench into the gears, and all that is gone. And now we got to start all over. And believe me, if I got to start all over 500 times, I will. But we're going to do our best at Deptford Little League to make sure that these kids have a good experience and hopefully something that they can remember for a lifetime.
Absolutely. Don, thank you very, very much. We'll continue to monitor this. Hopefully, you won't have to put your plan into play.
Me on.
You're welcome. Thank you, Don. Thanks for coming in today.
You take care now.
Thank you, Don. All right. Great volunteer here. The only thing, Dan, that's why I asked. I was glad you asked participation.
There's been no
trophy.
thunderclap pigs flying,
right,
Don and Dom,
Oh, there you go. Right.
And,
yes. I should have called him Dom. Dom, too.
just to get it back.
All right. Give me your reaction to that. No participation. The 4 and 5 year olds. Okay. And coach pitch at that young age. All right.
I feel like at a certain age, you have to breed encouragement.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's like, you don't need it.
And 325 kids. That's good. They're out there playing. Not enough of them continue to play past the age of 12 because things change then as far as good, bad, all that. But 855-839-1210. Dan, the wildest thing that I remember, DJ and Luke playing, et cetera, of a rule with an umpire, and these were paid umpires. We got to go. Wait a minute. There was a girl playing in the league who was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't going to make her tuck her shirt in. You know why? It was like a 12-year-old type of leg.
Why is that?
Her breasts were starting to develop. But you can't have an advantage. If she wants to play in the boys' league, what's the position? Okay. You know, if your shirt's flying in the wind, whatever, it looks like you got hit by a pitch. This was a pretty good league, right? You can't have that advantage. You got to tuck the shirt in. So it was like a whole.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was his own rule. And he said, no, everybody's got to have the shirt tucked in. We don't want somebody to get first base, not hit by a pitch. All right, coming up, there will be a big drag queen show. Let me give you some of the top billing here in Philadelphia. Bev, Asia Minor, and Stefani Steele. Who, among the candidates for mayor, will they be performing for to get this person over the finish line? You have like 12 Judge Jimmy D. Leone? No. I'll tell you who it is coming up. I might go to this, Dan, just to get some sound for the show. I'm thinking about it. It looks like a stunning, particularly Asia Monroe. The wigs alone. Maybe Phil Murphy might be there checking him out. All right. Phone lines are 855-839-1210. That's how you get in. Hey, springtime can bring out the aches and pains as we begin to spend more time outside. If you're dealing with any form of inflammation, then Glyco Plus from Rescue Natural Supplements, that can bring you relief. The green-lipped muscle complex is blended with UC2 collagen to help support joint health. Now, this type of collagen is a key component of joint cartilage, essential for its strength and elasticity. And right now, Rescue Glyco Plus is buy one, get one free for anyone with our exclusive radio code. Just use the code WPHT Relief, double up your order for free. Again, WPHT RELIEF. Call him today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable rescue product consultant. You can also use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Get back into action with less pain and more comfort. Again, use the code WPHT Relief to double up your order of Rescue Glyco Plus for free. Tom Giordano's show. Love that segment with the umpire volunteers. Love to get your reaction. So, a drag queen show. Bev, Asia Monroe, and Stefani Steele is my favorite, probably. They're doing this on May 3rd here in Philadelphia in support of, well, you guessed it, Helen Gim.
Oh, surprise.
Surprise.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I thought it might be Alan Dom. That might be, or Jeff Brown. No, it's Helen Gim. Now, everybody has a right to get all the support, all these endorsements, but it seems to fit that, Jim Kelly might want to DJ that. Asia Monroe is a fairly clever name. Okay, we got Martina White coming up at 1:30. Martina here because on Monday, the House in Harrisburg will vote on this bill, if you can imagine, to fine and go after, I guess, take away their medical license, and they might have the votes. It's going to be close to any doctor or healthcare provider who will not perform gender-affirming treatment for a minor, an adult, a kid that says they're trans. Yes, here in Pennsylvania. They might have the votes for that in the House. Well, it depends upon, and they're afraid apparently, some of these representatives here in our section, Bucks, Delco, Montgomery County, are buckling possibly. Because the soccer moms out there, now the trans moms, I guess, are going to say you're being cruel to the kids. Imagine doctors and nurses and others listening, if they think it's medically unsound, if they think it's unethical, if they think it's morally unsound, they won't be able to do that. They'll come under this law voted on Monday. She's been a champion for women in sports and things like this. So we'll talk with Martina at 1:30. And Scott Perry, who's the chairman of the Freedom Caucus, he's here at 2:30. We'll talk with him because they did get a debt ceiling bill through in the House barely by one vote that would cut spending by $4.8 trillion over 10 years, I believe, but also would raise the debt ceiling at this point. The Dean of Decency, right?
Real quick, Dom,
Let me finish this for 1 second. The Dean of Decency, of course, tweets out, oh, they don't get it. This is like paying off your credit card debt. You moron. Go back to making bicycles in Red China. Yes, Dan.
This is like 4 topics ago now, but on our youtube.com/@1210WPHT, if you're watching and you're confused as to what's going on in the top right corner, that's Asia Monroe, the drag queen that you were mentioning, who's now coming to support.
Very supportive of the Dom Giordano show.
I'm excited for this event. Are you going? You said you might go.
Yes, I'm thinking of going there because I want to get some sand. Now I have to be undercover. I might have to get Ms. Kim to fix my hair differently. If we could find Phil Murphy's barber, I'd love to go to it just to, sit in the chair, trim it around the edge. Give me the Phil Murphy look. And let's see what she would do, Dan. Give me the look you gave Phil Murphy.
just don't comb your hair.
Yes. Well, okay. The session's
wow,
over.
That was some impressive, high kick there from Asia Monroe.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to say, they're a very good dancer. Yeah.
All right. No, I'm thinking of going to it. I think it'll be good show fodder to get some of the commentary on why Helen Gim and why not Alan Dom. I think I'll go with that. All right.
Sorry to end your dining with Dom that way, but every day, Dom, from noon until 1, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Please go over there, like and subscribe. We'll notify you every time we come live, but every time is every day at noon, dining with Dom.
And don't forget Krasnerland at 4 o'clock today, facebook.com/1210WPHT. Big 1 o'clock hour straight ahead. Talk Radio 1210.